Oh, yeah. Look at that. Welcome one, welcome all. Super Bowl. Here we come. The biggest homers in the world right here. My name is Russell Wayne with the main event 365. Follow us on Facebook. Subscribe to the YouTube channel because it's free and it helps us if you want to help us, and if you just want to troll us, yeah, you should still follow us because we're fun to troll too. So my name is Russell Wayne, and we are here every morning for the phone sessions. And I am joined this morning right off the get-go with smoking Jeremy B. Like that. How you doing, bro?
No applause, just throw money.
You are your biggest fan, and we're here to talk about some Lions football. I do have some good topics for today. I've been thinking about a couple things, and I am gonna wait because I do know that Mike is going to be calling here because this is the phone sessions, and we're going to be talking a little bit about the rule changes and stuff. But until then, we might be able to just have some fun when we can make fun of Aaron Rodgers as one last time. Aaron Rodgers and Alan Lazard injured at OTA. I don't want to laugh about anybody's injury, but I'm not. The only reason I might laugh at this is because I don't really buy it. What are your thoughts on this injury at OTA for the Packers? No, it's not the Packers anymore. It's the New York Jets.
Well, I got one thing to say to all these people getting injured in OTAs, and that includes the tight end for Washington Commanders that they just reported about this morning. They need some milk. They need some milk. They got to get stronger. That's the best, chocolate milk, they say, is the best way to stop from having cramps. Aaron Rodgers had leg cramps of some sort. He's going to get checked out, but more than likely it's muscle cramps because he gets dehydrated. And the best source of electrolytes is either Gatorade or chocolate milk.
I heard that the best source of dehydration is going into a dark room and finding yourself and becoming one with yourself.
Oh, but, that's for the off season, not during.
Yeah. But I think that his mind is in the right place. I think it's a non-issue. That's and I would like to know what you think in the comments. I mean, really, I'm just a knucklehead with a podcast, and I go live. But Dawn is in here, said thank you so much. This is from a devoted Green Bay Packer fan. Hey, we invite all the fan bases here. We actually love it when you make fun of us because you've made fun of us for so long as the Green Bay Packer fan base, and deservedly so. We haven't been very good, but those days are over. Green Bay Packers cannot beat the Detroit Lions anymore. Dan Campbell has that lock and key, and Jordan Love has everything to prove as far as I'm concerned. But what do you feel about that? You think that the Lions are just in a completely different mindset now, where you don't really feel like you're chasing anybody anymore, do you?
Who had the best offseason in possibly the whole NFL, let alone the NFC North?
That could be debatable. That part right there could be debatable. You could say that the Green Bay Packers did get better. They did draft one hell of a pass rusher I'm talking about from the defensive side of the ball here. This is the thing is
as a team.
The thing that people seem to forget about Green Bay is they think that Aaron Rodgers left, out, here comes this, it all of a sudden just makes the defense bad or something like that. That was a pretty good defense last year, and that the defense got better for the Green Bay Packers. So Justin Fields has to answer questions against the Green Bay Packers defense, right? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that Aaron Rodgers isn't there. It's never been about Justin Fields or Jared Goff or Kirk Cousins versus. I mean, these guys aren't on the field at the same time. It's versus their defense. And Green Bay had a pretty good defense last year. And I'm sure you're going to provide me with some outlandish stats that says that they're an outlier and they're the worst defense in the world. But I saw the product on the field, and
according to Pro Football Focus, they were the 21st ranked defense, the Green Bay Packers.
Now, Is that the total defense? I mean, this is all art, but they did get
That's
better in the
that's
defense, and
total
they are.
defense. That's total defense, and you have to look at what they lost. They added some things which should make it better, but they're unproven rookies.
And I'm not. And you're bringing
And
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 Rashawn
I'm just
Gary. What I
Rashawn
mean,
Gary, he's great, but he stayed there. You know what I'm saying? So that being
right?
said, it looks like they're going to be better, but you can't say it's better. Did they address that
Well,
secondary early enough in the draft? I don't think they did.
I am just saying that if we're just thinking that we're gonna, I mean, I think that they have everything to prove to us. Like we beat that team, I thought with their best punch last year that they're gonna have, and I think that they have to bring it to us. They have to prove that those guys can get through our offensive line. They have to prove that they can stop our defensive line at this problem. But when it comes to a team like Chicago, who is rebuilding also, for them to puff their chests out and think they're just going to go in and get a couple easy wins over the Green Bay Packers.
If
I
I had
mean,
120 million in cap room, I could get better too. But when you only have 3 wins, how much better could you
right.
get?
So I'm not saying Green Bay
So I'm not.
Packers versus the Lions. I'm saying Green Bay Packers versus the division. It's really it. Whatever just or Jordan Love is whatever that team's going to be, because that's what they were minus. The biggest minus is you take a Hall of Fame quarterback out. Now, can he
I want to see him take a
keep up?
page out of Aaron Rodgers last year's playbook and be Kirby Joseph's best receiving option.
All right. So Jordan Love bust. Heard that he looked bad in OTAs. That was by Facebook user. From Rob, we got Lazard has an issue with injuries, and he probably would have an awesome career if he hadn't been injured every year. I mean, and that's fair. That's fair. Lazard is one of those guys, and Aaron Rodgers wanted him there for a reason. I mean, obviously he wants to have
Security
some kind
blanket.
of familiarity. He knows where he's going to be. He's going to be at that spot that Aaron wants him to be. And but when it comes with that, but that is not what I wanted to talk about today. We got off a little bit of track right there on a sub topic right there. So one of the things I want to talk about is the fact that George Kittle endorses Sam Laporta. I don't know if you saw anything that had came out with that, but I got a little thing. Did you see that?
Yeah, I saw it,
Yeah.
and I'm happy for it. You know,
Yeah.
George Kittle is one of the best in the game. He's a top 5 tight end right now, hands
Right.
down. You could argue between 3 and 5 that they're all pretty much the same. The number 1 guy, of course, is Travis Kelce. Number 2, you can debate even it being Mark Andrews or George Kittle, just because of what they do for their teams. But Kittle has a little more injury concern than what Andrews has. That's why I have him at 3 in my book.
So, I really this was one of those picks right here. When I look at the Sam Laporta pick, Jeremy, I was like it threw me a little bit, and I think that I'm not alone when there's a lot of the fan base that was out there, and you can put that into the comments. Did you like the Sam Laporta pick at all? I mean, some people think, oh my god, another tight end, but put that.
It wasn't the first round, so I loved it.
So, but now we have a really good tight end, and it's a tight end that he is compared to a lot. I've heard the comparison between Sam Laporta and George Kittle, even coming out before we drafted him, before we became homers for the guy. But this guy is amazing at breaking tackles. All the film that I've watched on him, he looks like he really just looks like a running back with the ball, shimmying and making people miss. Isn't that really just a great security blank for Jared Goff, being just a distributor, somebody that he can get the ball out of his hands quickly to?
Yes. I mean, Iowa, Facebook user says it. Iowa is tight end U. I love it. Always have great tight ends. Dallas Clark went to Iowa. George Kittle. TJ Hawkinson. The only thing is, what didn't you hear this year about Sam Laporta? Is what we heard about TJ Hawkinson coming out. TJ Hawkinson, when he came out, we heard he was an extra tackle in the run game. And after we watched him for 3 seasons, we know that's an absolute lie.
Yeah. Yeah, and he underwhelmed for sure. And there were moments where he was really, really good, which is why we got a second and a third round pick for him. And who knows? Maybe TJ Hawkinson can, resurrect his. I'm not going to say resurrect because he was always a fringe top 10 tight end with us. When someone says, "Oh, we got ourselves a top 10 tight end," I'm like, yeah, he's like 10. He's
10 to 15.
Yeah,
10 to 15. That's where he's at.
You could argue that he was 5 to 10 in some circles, but I'm not going to go there. I'm not here to do that. Iowa being the tight end university. I mean, that's pretty good company that you're in right there. Dallas Clark and TJ Hawkinson and he was.
I love about Sam Laporta. Right. Well, I love about Sam Laporta. He led the team in receptions. He led the teams in yak yardage and broken tackles. He led all of NCAA in broken tackles.
I mean, the fact that, think about this, Jeremy. The fact that he is from Iowa and he's mentioned in one of the top offensive players in the nation says it all. Because you're a Michigan fan, I'm an Ohio State fan, but we've both played Iowa. So, and we know that Iowa is just notoriously known for just nasty defenses that, and they win all of their games 9-7 and 5-3. And it's not known for anything offensively. But when you look back to that tape, man, that dude was it. They were handing him the ball. He was doing wildcat stuff. He was running around the side, coming out of the slot, coming out of the X, coming out of the backfield. Like, they were using this guy all over the place because he was it. That was it. They had no running back. There was nobody to throw him the ball. Like, it was all quick stuff. And gosh, I feel like this is a sleeper pick because of this, because he's going to go from that to where he's going to have all kinds of opportunities in this offense with a quarterback that is actually really good at distributing the ball quickly at the line of scrimmage to running backs, to tight ends coming out of the backfield, and Amon-Ra St. Brown. Zip. That's what Goff's good at, sitting in the pocket and, trying to evade people, making shit happen after the play.
Yeah, you say trying to evade people because not many got through to him.
Right. And that's where it benefits. You either get a playmaking quarterback, right, that you're going to have to pay a gazillion dollars to, that you're not going to be able to get offensive line. He's going to be running for his life the whole time. Or you build the entire franchise and then they drop a quarterback in. Now, fortunately, Goff is like in the middle of that, right? Goff is like
not athletic. He's not quite athletic.
But he's not getting paid like Patrick Mahomes. He's in the middle of that tier of where it's like you're getting value for him being a top 10 producer. You're getting value at the contract. And then you can bring a guy like Hendon Hooker along and then do that beautiful thing that you love to do, which is develop a quarterback, let him sit for a year behind the system, maybe 2 years in the system, and possibly even get some value out of this guy. But I got off track right here because we were talking about Sam Laporta. But Sam Laporta is the type of dude that makes Jared Goff look really, really good.
Yep. He runs great crossing routes, breaks tackles, beats out safeties when they're trying to get him, or cornerbacks. He's as fast or faster than a lot of linebackers in the league.
It's like 4.5 40, right? That was that
4.5 4.6 right in there. Yes, he's right in that middle. So it's a good pick.
Oh, that's a good call right there. Let's talk about that right there. So Sam Laporta start over Brock Wright. Now, this is like, before you answer this, because I know you might just say yes right off the bat. But here's the thing. It's like tight end is known as like one of the hardest positions to translate from college to the NFL. So with that being said, and Brock Wright's been here for a while. I mean, Brock Wright kind of knows what time it is. But that's the entire time of the Campbell organization. Yep. with this
signed as a UDFA 2 years ago, signed to the futures contract last year. and then they
So
extended him this year.
our team loves the competition type of thing, and you earn your way on. I mean, is he a slam dunk tight end one day one?
You will know immediately if it's a passing or running game play coming up. If Slam Laporta's in, it's a passing play. If Brock Wright is in, it could be either because he's the better blocker.
Right. So that lends to the argument that Brock Wright is probably going to be the tight end one. But here's the thing that was said about Sam Laporta in the rookie OTA and the OTAs was he wasn't lining up just in the tight end slot. He was like 30% of his snaps were coming out of the slot and the X, and it's like they're planning on using this guy. And when you think of him not as a tight end, and you out there too, I want to know what you really think about this. But if you think of Sam Laporta, let's just say, for instance, that he was a wide receiver coming out of the University of Iowa. Let's do the same measurables. Let's really look at this. Excellent at breaking tackles. Run out to the catch. He ran a 4.5 40, which isn't great speed, but for a guy that's 6'4", 250 pounds, that's very good speed for a guy that's going to be a red zone target. So if you just stuck the wide receiver instead of TE, does that make him a first round pick? No, you don't think? I mean,
Sam Laporta was not going to be a first-round pick. The only tight end that had a chance of being the first-round pick was Michael Mayer out of Notre Dame because he blocks and receives and does well.
So I feel you right there. What I'm trying to get out of you is the argument that tight end is less valuable than a wide receiver. I'm not trying to say where he was ranked, where Michael Mayer was. I'm saying put him in the position, like, let's say that he didn't test as a tight end at all. Let's say that he tested as a wide out. He was a wide out, and then he was that same playmaker, 6'5", 255 pounds, runs a 4.5 40 with a good catch radius, good break tackles. Does that skill set as a wide receiver possibly make him a first round pick?
No, it probably would have made him drop. As in being a tight end in that fast, it moved him up in the draft. As a wide receiver and that slow, because 4.5 is slow for a wide receiver, you end up being a 3rd through 5th round pick or possibly a UDFA at that point.
Because it's so diluted with guys that actually are there to catch passes.
So you got to look at our UDFA that we picked up, Cato and Thompson.
It's a good question because this is all in the eye of the beholder right here too, because of how you value. Like it isn't great speed, but for the size, you're not usually even seeing wide receivers that are 250 pounds, like for one. So that's kind of what slides them into that tight end discussion. But the point I'm trying to get at here is this is a big bodied pass catcher. That's the way I want Lion fan from here on out. If you're listening, you're a Lion fan, look at him as a big bodied pass catcher, then you'll kind of see where the skill set could translate and where you could still use a Brock Wright. You get both those guys out there, two tight end sets all day long, right?
Yep. Yeah.
So
and that's why I just wrote my UDFAs that may make the roster, and I also specifically pointed out Cato and Thompson because he's not just a wide receiver at his size.
So
he's 6'4" and 235 pounds. He played quarterback, halfback, fullback, tight end, and wide receiver. Runs a 4.65, which as a wide receiver, that's why he fell out of the draft. But because of his skill set that he has outside a wide receiver, it's a great pickup, and he should be on the practice squad.
When you look at like wide receiver, and I get this, Justin Jefferson's the best wide receiver, and this is going to translate into our next topic really, really well. So but pass catching wise, I would say hands down that he is the best wide receiver, and I'll give that to him. But now there's a lot of that that might have to do with a gentleman that they may be losing after
Means
June
they are
1st.
losing.
They are losing for sure. So Dalvin Cook is making his way out. And I'm arguing right here. And let me finish this before you interject on this. So I'm going to argue right here that Justin Jefferson's production is going to get hurt because Dalvin Cook is leaving. And here's why. Because you put 8 in the box when you're defending Dalvin Cook. Dalvin Cook is a bona fide top 5 every year of his career back. You can argue that on some years, maybe that he's on the fringe, on the back end of that or whatever. That's semantics. But he is somebody that you have to account for as a weapon, and you got to put 8 in the box. You got to account for that. That opened up lots and lots of one-on-one opportunities for our man, Justin Jefferson. And I'm sorry, in an 8-man in a box, you're going to be doing that for Dalvin Cook. I understand that. You have to do that. Ain't nobody in this league going to put 8 in the box for Alexander Madison and Dwayne McBride. And they're going to be able to reallocate those services to the outside to guard those pass catchers. That's going to hurt Kirk Cousins. That's going to hurt Dalvin Cook. Now, smoking, Jeremy B. Give me some of that smoking.
Mark my words. I think Dwayne McBride may garner it by midseason because I think he's a better running back and overall round running back than Alexander Madison coming out of college. The kid was a workhorse back out there at UAB. I loved him. He's strong. He's quick. He has great moves. He receives out of the backfield. He actually blocks for his quarterbacks. He does all of it. Him and Eric Gray were the 2 most all-rounded running backs coming out of college.
I love it. Look at Jeremy B coming out of the woodworks right there to go to the defense of Quezzy right there. And I'll admit this. That was probably one of the best 7th round picks of the draft right there. And Dwayne McBride.
And for what the Lions needed, as much as anybody says it and they don't like it, Antoine Green was another one at 6'2" and a 4.4 to 4.3 guy at the wide receiver spot with Jameson Williams missing 6 games. That speed to interject in the lineup other than Josh Reynolds.
Which I'm going to plug right now, Pride of Detroit, because they have a fantastic interview on there with one of the guys that was the talent scouts at North Carolina that watched Antoine Green all of his career and the things that he went through just to get where he's at. It's an awesome story. This kid has overcame a ton to make it to the NFL. And the fact that he was drafted at all is such a testament to how hard that he worked to get back, because he came back from a horrific injury and was still a productive player on a very bad offense.
An average 19 yards per catch.
Right. And he had everything that you're looking for in that prototypical wide receiver that you're looking, that red zone threat. He is, I mean, Marvin Jones, he should be attached to Marvin Jones' hip. And Marvin Jones, if he can learn from Marvin Jones, going up to make those contested catches, because this kid, God, I didn't mean to even get on the Antoine Green thing, but they say this kid was one of the best in the nation at going, like when it came to people contested catches and him going up and having to fight for a ball. There's not very many better wide receivers that came out in this class than Antoine Green.
He had to be, because Drake May was a first-year starter, which means he lacked in decision-making like most starters do in college. You know, he's athletic.
Uh-oh. Well, I'll just I keep that. Gosh, that sucks that his connection's bad on that.
Give it a minute. Yeah, okay. But Drake May struggled with decision-making.
Yeah.
That's the only thing he struggled with. He has great arm, great accuracy, but with his decision-making, he would throw it into trouble. And luckily, he had Antoine Green to make those contested catches.
See, Matt, how did we do this? We ended up we got derailed because of our homerism. We want to talk about our 7th round draft picks too, guys. Ours is good.
But losing Dalvin Cook, 100% will hurt Justin Jefferson's production because, like you said, if there is an 8 in the box, that means there's 5 in coverage instead of 3.
So we'll throw that out there. I mean, this is the main event 365. We do cover the entire NFC North. So I know that there is a Viking fan that's out there, even though you're in witness protection. If you want to come out and you want to say something good about your team, like, make it make sense right there. Make it make sense. Why wouldn't that hurt Justin Jefferson's production? Why wouldn't that hurt Kirk Cousins' production? Because the threat of the run has to be there. I mean, that's what makes a good play action. And you ain't got nobody to fear. I'm sorry, I like Dwayne McBride too, but there ain't no NFL defenses that are going to start scheming this guy from day one. They're going to be scheming more guys on Justin Jefferson, and they're going to say, run at me, bitch. I'm sorry.
Words, because of that, Joshua Addison may have a better year.
Oh, you're talking about, Addison.
Jordan Addison, I mean. Yeah,
Jordan Addison. Yeah, you threw me off there. Yeah, you called me out on my thing this morning. I had thunder.
The reason why I say that is because they're going to be doubling Jefferson when in man.
Yeah.
Which is going to leave Addison open. Sure. And Addison is a little more talented physical skill sets than what Adam Thielen was.
I don't know about that. Kid's like 178 pounds soaking wet, man.
I am talking about speed, route running.
Sure.
Coming out of college, he's better than Thielen was coming out of college.
Yeah, but like, especially in this division right here, where you've had all those wide receivers.
Black and blue.
We have cornerbacks in this divisions that will put their hands on you, and that little 178-pound dude might not be able to get off the line of scrimmage. This is the pros. So he did great at that in college, but he's got to prove that he can do it. Amon-Ra was a 4th round draft pick, guys. So I understand what you want.
In Amon-Ra's defense, he should have been a 2nd round pick.
Sure.
Get that right.
So that's fair. That's fair. What I'm saying is we got that value in the 4th round. You spent a 1st round pick on something that you probably could have let fall value wise as far as wide receivers. I don't know. I mean, that's a high price to pay when you had the 31st ranked defense and then all of your best defenders went out the door. So you're worse. You're worse on defense, and you drafted a wide receiver. If I'm a Minnesota Viking fan, I'm feeling like, 3rd year of Matt Patricia Lion fan at this point. Like,
but it's only 2nd year of Quezzy.
Yeah. So, but I'm feeling as bad because even the 1st year of Patricia was a 9-7. Like this whole Quezzy experience, it looked, huh?
It was 6 wins.
Was it? Are you sure?
Yeah, the last 9-7 year was Caldwell. We went to 6 wins.
Oh, I thought that he was okay. He took over a 9-7 team.
Yeah,
and said that wasn't good enough. That's right. But feeling like after that 2nd year, I'll say that after that 2nd year with Patricia, this is how Viking fan should feel right now because you have nothing to hope for. It's only going to get worse. You just got your nose above water. I can sign my draft class.
Wait, you want to know how they should feel when they drafted a wide receiver in the 1st round over defensive talent? A slap in the face.
Okay, so I don't know if it'll hurt Jefferson because they have Madison and Addison from USC. Yeah, but you lost Adam Thielen, and you're going to lose Dalvin Cook. Those guys are not upgrades. Addison is not an upgrade from a seasoned pro like Adam Thielen. Thielen is a good number.
At the same time, he misses time on the field.
I understand that. That's fine, but when I'm looking back and all I can go by is what happens on the field, right? So last year I take my son to this Minnesota game and I'm watching Adam Thielen take Amani Oruwariye to Spanky Town, penalty after penalty after penalty.
Everybody did that to Amani Oruwariye when he was in man coverage.
I tell you, but Adam Thielen is a good pro, and you can't just. It isn't addition by subtraction, guys. Your team was one of the best teams in the NFL. You got into the dance, and you put your best punch forward. You went. You came into this year minus a second round draft pick. Next year, you're going to be minus your third round draft pick. You got to rebuild. The rest of the division got better. The Lions got better. Chicago got better. Green Bay got better.
Where?
Minnesota. Minnesota.
I like picking on Packers fans. Come on, it's fun.
Yeah, but okay, you can pick on Packer fans, but you can pick on Minnesota fan a hell of a lot more than you can pick on Packer fan right now.
You guys won a lot of one-score games at the end of games, not because you were great, because you did just enough to win. And it was, you know what it was? Last year, the Minnesota Vikings were the 2020 Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah, they were paper champs. They went all in. They thought that Hawkinson was going to be the to push them over. And gosh, they got into this offseason. And what they do, you just locked up. You just spent a second round pick on, your future tight end of the future, right? So you get into free agency, and what do? You spend $7 million a year on a blocking tight end.
Yeah, because Hawkinson can't block.
Okay. And now you're going to lose your all-pro running back. You just lost Kendricks, your all-pro linebacker. You just lost Zadarius Smith.
For a bag of chips and a thing of popcorn.
You just downgraded your secondary from Patrick Peterson, who is maybe one of the greatest cornerbacks of all time, to a really good slot corner in Byron Murphy. And it's like,
Byron Murphy's decent. He actually played the team last year.
He's decent. Okay, that to me, what he didn't play as decent as Patrick Peterson did last year for that team. Like, go check those PFF stats. I know you could roll your eyes at me, but I know I checked that one out. I was looking at that one. They downgraded their secondary by bringing in Byron Murphy over Patrick Peterson, and they paid more money. And they paid more money for the guy. You paid more money for Byron Murphy for the potential of a really, really good player that might be ascending into his best.
I like Byron Murphy myself. I didn't think we'd get Cam Sutton. That's who I wanted for the Lions, was Byron Murphy.
But here, maybe they should have signed Patrick Peterson with Byron Murphy because they played together. Maybe that would be a smart move. Maybe they should have both of these guys.
Here's what I want to say about Byron Murphy. You want to know what I think of him? When I see him, I see exactly what we got out of the Houston Texans when we signed Glover Quinn. A cornerback that could move to free safety.
Right. Hey, and I'm sorry. I love you. Robin. Robert, I appreciate your comment right here. And I'll tell you how Green Bay got better. They got better on defense again. They drafted another pass rusher in the first round. You can never have enough pass rushers, and I think a lot of people would agree with that. And then in the second round, they were able to get two tight ends that were one of the top 5 ranked tight ends, and they were able to get another wide receiver. So they improved their pass catching room. And then in the late rounds, they did very good in the late rounds when it came with getting defenders and getting value at their defenders, like guys like Carl Banks. And then I can't remember that they got a safety. Johnson, Antoine. I can't remember.
Anthony Johnson.
Yeah, and Anthony Johnson from Florida State. I mean, that kid had a second round grade. So the Green Bay. Here's the thing.
No, Anthony Johnson was a 4th round grade. Antonio Johnson was
Antonio Johnson. That was
second round grade. There's a big difference.
So Green Bay got better. And here's the thing with Green Bay. If there's any question about Green Bay, it's your defensive coordinator. It's Joe Barry. I mean, here you got Gutekunst coming in, and he's, to me, I think he's making miracles happen for this team. And Joe Barry's got first round talent after first round talent after first round talent in the secondary, on the defensive line. And your defense is, like Jeremy said, you're 21st. You're okay. I mean, you might be in the top half of the league. You might be able to make an argument for top half of the league. But with all of those first round picks, you really want to keep employing Joe Barry? Or you think? Is that what you want right there? So how did Green Bay get better? From personnel standpoint, all day long, they got better. But here's the thing.
I disagree myself, but I personally think they had the worst offseason in the NFC North, and Minnesota was second.
So where didn't they get better? Quarterback. That's the big argument that you can make. You can make a giant argument that they didn't get better.
O-line.
Their O-line was a top 10 O-line last year.
But David Bakhtiari can't stay on the field. Neither can a couple of other guys, and they didn't do enough to draft the replacements for these guys coming in that are at the end of their careers.
So this all remains to be seen, right? So, like, Green Bay Packer fans, since this is an objective show, so I have to give them their objectiveness right here. So if I'm looking at that team and I'm a Green Bay Packer fan, I say, I'm fine. I'm on O-line. I got these guys. Bakhtiari is going to be fine. He was injured, but he's a super pro or whatever. And we're not worried at all because they've been the elite team. They've been the arrogant. They've been able to puff their chests out for all of the years of the Green. But those times are over, guys. You're 1-3 versus Dan Campbell. Okay? This is the reality. This isn't. What have you done for me lately? I'm sorry. This isn't 2010. The Lions roster is full of a whole bunch of guys that were like 10 in 2010. Like,
what was that record again?
Yeah. 1-3. It's 1-3. So the Lions have a good reason to feel good about the team. And it's not because of Jared Goff either, guys. We're not jacked up beating our chest because we think that Jared Goff is going to just be this guy that's like Patrick Mahomes. No, they have surrounded Goff. It's everybody else. Jared Goff is like that guy that you're going to love to hate, Green Bay. You're going to be like, I hate that stupid look in his face because he's surrounded by a bunch of guys with, like, you know, those Letterman jackets, like the school Letterman jackets. Frank Ragnow, you know, he's sitting there with Jonah Jackson and Vaitai and Penei Sewell. He's like, oh, you got a problem? Why don't you talk to my boy over here, Penei Sewell? If you got a problem with me, then you got a problem with him. Yeah. What are you going to do about it? Nothing. There's nothing you're going to do about it. There's not a defensive line in the NFC North that the Lions should be scared of with that offensive line. Green Bay is a top 10 offense and the defense on paper, but they never play like that until the end of the year. Okay. A top 10 offense. Don't know about that yet. We're going to see how Jordan Love plays. And I'm not assuming that he's going to be bad. I know that there's a lot of Lions fans that are like, oh, no, there's no way you could have 3 Hall of Fame quarterbacks. I mean, anything's possible. I'm wishing that, I mean, right now, anything's possible. Like bad connections. You know, the fact that we can't keep smoking Jeremy B and he's got that look on his face. What are we supposed to do about it? Nothing. There's nothing you can do about it. Just like the Lions pass rush. There's nothing that they can do about it. They can't stop it. It's going to keep going. Just like that frozen look on Jeremy B's face. It's not going to go away. He's back. Okay. Jeremy B's came back from the frozen tundra.
I switched to the mobile hotspot because I got stuck in a frozen Wi-Fi. But I'll be right back.
The evil empire. Bill the Packer fan playing tricks on me, getting freezing Jeremy B's face using that frozen tundra. So Rob says, I'm a Packer fan, but I'm not sold on Love at all. I mean, You could be sold. I know what it's like. I mean, we have Jared Goff. Okay, I mean our fan base is absolutely split on Jared Goff. So I can understand that Green Bay's fan base why they would be split on having Jordan Love. Right? He is unproven. You don't know. You don't know. That defense is still pretty good though. I mean, I'm not here to blow smoke, right? I mean, we have our homer shows. We love our 7th round draft pick. We did a little homerism there for the Detroit Lions. But you look at the Packers, they did improve. I'm not going to agree with Jeremy B on that. I mean, a top 10 offense and defense on paper, that might be a little bit of a stretch. I don't know about a top 10 offense. I mean, that's a pretty bold statement, honestly, with the quarterbacks that are in this league, and for a brand new dude just to be that guy and come in and be a top 10 with unproven wide receivers, with unproven playmakers all over the place. And I know that Jeremy didn't really like the offensive line, but really, that's really the only thing that you can truly rest on is that
No, they're running back.
you're your offensive line is pretty good. Yeah, you're running backs. I'm not sold on Dylan like everybody else is, but Quadzilla, he has some impressive quads, Jeremy B, but I don't know about him being a competent even backup. Aaron Jones is great. I like Aaron Jones. Hey, I watched AJ Dillon get stood up by Derek Barnes right in the goal line when it mattered. So I don't care about what it looks like in the middle of the season. One thing that we're learning about the Lions is they have guys that in the biggest moments that are as cold as ice, like that will just put the damage to you, and they don't care how big the moment is. Khalif Raymond, like there are unsung heroes on this team that aren't afraid of the moment. And when I watched AJ Dillon get popped right in that goal line on a game changing play, on a play that mattered, I watched the Lions team that wanted it more. They wanted it more.
The big difference at the end of the season from the beginning of the season is these young guys are still developing. So you're talking about year 2 on a linebacker, Derek Barnes, right? He already lost his job to a rookie. Think about that. He lost his job to Malcolm Rodriguez. Wouldn't you try harder and try to get better so you can make those plays by the end of the season? Absolutely. Because you want to stay on this roster. You want to stay on this roster. You want to be here before somebody makes you go, get the hell out.
Yeah, so Rob agrees with me. He said they're not going to be a top 10 team on offense this year, but I do believe you when you say that they could be a top 10 team on defense. But they need a lot of. They need. I say could. When I say could, that doesn't mean
I think they'll be at best 15. At best 15.
Yeah,
15 to
I don't
20.
think they're going to be good on
That's
defense.
Better than
all.
They were last year. That's better than last year, but I don't think they're going to be a top 10 defense. Even on paper, I don't see that.
So Jeremy B is now on record here saying they're not going to be a top 10 defense, and I'm on record. I'm going to say that too. I don't think that they're going to be a top 10 defense or a top 15 defense, but if they are, that means that these guys started playing together. These secondary guys, I mean, Stokes, all these guys start playing together well, and Joe Barry actually starts acting like he could be a good defensive coordinator. But so far, I see you get first round talent after first round talent and put out mediocre products. So I think it's the coaching, not the players. I think they have an all-star lineup potentially, but they don't have the right person in place to put all of that together.
Right. I mean,
points, not puts.
Yeah, he thinks that they will be the 31st offense in the league this year, averaging 12.7 points a game. That's what he thinks about Green Bay, his own team.
Robert says they're going to be on the field too much to be a top 10 defense.
Absolutely. That's exactly why. They're going to be gassed. They may have a young team, but young teams don't start gelling until about week 10. We saw that. Our first year when we got everybody and signed all the UDFAs and had them all playing, when did we start to play well defensively? In year 1 under Campbell and Aaron Glenn.
Yeah,
about week 10,
and he
week 11.
did it with a lot less talent. Like what I was talking with Bill, the Packer fan, this morning on a non-homer type of thing, and I was talking about the differences between. He's like, "Well, you've had good teams before," and I was like, "Well, no, it's a little bit different now." Like when it was Stafford, Sue, and Calvin Johnson, we had cap problems every year because we had to work around those three. They were the largest. The 3 rookies, but those rookie contracts made them like the highest paid players at their position, like, or at all. Like you're talking about a defensive tackle that was getting QB money.
Sounds like main event night.
No, it is not. I am going to have to hop off here, and I'm going to have to be up. We're up against it anyway, but this has been a great talk about this. We didn't get to talk about the rule changes. Maybe we'll get to that tomorrow morning on the phone sessions right there. Go ahead and plug your thing because I got to call my wife back.
Okay. Follow me on Kneecap Biting with Smoke and Jeremy B. Follow my Facebook page, Motor City Kneecap Biters. I'm also a part of NFC North The Huddle. And you can also follow my writings on SouthFloridaTribune.com under the Motor City Tribune heading.
That is awesome. So thank you, everybody that's out there. This is Main Event 365. Follow us on Facebook. Subscribe to the YouTube channel because that is really how we get out there, right? We want to be able to reach more football fans. We definitely understand that this is the hardcore football fans that are watching right now. All the casual fans checked out right after the draft was over. So I appreciate each and every one of you for being a hardcore football fan and supporting your team. And I don't even care which team that it is. If you're fanning hard, you keep fanning hard. We represent the Detroit Lions. They're going to win the NFC North. So God bless every single one of you guys that's out there listening. One pride, baby.
Games like